Hey, everybody. So I often get asked, what do I wish I knew about options before I actually started trading options professionally? And I would say the one thing I wish I knew was the absolute power options have from a point of leverage and how much acceleration they could potentially have to the good side or to the bad side. So I'm John Napolitano. Thanks for watching this video. I'm here at Stock Trading Pro. I am the options trading instructor. And that is the number one question I often get. What do I wish I knew before I got into this whole options trading world? And the best way I could really describe it is to show you by example. So I'm going to jump into it right now. I'm going to share my screen with you here. And basically, one of the things that it's just really hard to explain unless I literally show you an example. I'm going to use Amazon. So Amazon, as some of you may know, trades at around $219. So let's just use that as an example. If you decide to buy 100 shares of Amazon, which one options contract represents, you're going to spend $21,923 basically as of the close of yesterday. So that is a lot of money to have for anybody, whether it's a small account, large account, mid-size account. I would say $22,000 is a pretty considerable amount of money. Now, you might expect Amazon to go up 10%. If Amazon was to go up 10%, you'd make about $2,000. About $2,100 represents a 10% increase in Amazon. So in order to get that 10% increase, you might have to wait a little while. It takes a while for any stock to really go up 10%, but that's what most investors do. Or traders for that matter, they put their capital in harm's risk and they basically wait for that type of increase. If it doesn't increase that much, you don't make as much. Now with options, one of the things I didn't realize when I first started doing this was just what the buying power of options really gives you. If I go out a month in time, 30 days as of right now is November 21st, the at the money strike price, which is 217 and a half, they don't exactly have 220. They don't exactly have the price I'm looking for here, but the closest price here is 217 and a half. That's going to cost about $1,300. All right. It's $1,350 by $1,370. That is only a 20-cent spread because Amazon trades very well. And that is pretty substantial. That is a pretty good deal. You're getting to rent 100 shares of Amazon for $1,300. Now, if Amazon was to go up 10%, and let's say it goes up, let's say 10% of 222 is let's say 20 points. If it goes up to 240, the intrinsic value there would increase this option by a factor of about 2. So for putting together a trade, if I was to buy this right now, this would cost me $1,370. I'm risking $1,370 at the maximum amount of money that I can lose. Okay, no matter what happens to Amazon, if Jeff Bezos gets struck by lightning tomorrow, I'm losing $1,300. Okay, now obviously stocks don't go down usually that fast. Sometimes it could happen, so always manage your risk. Another thing to realize is when you have $22,000 in harm's way and something really goes bad, you do have something called single stock risk. Another thing I really didn't think about until, unfortunately, I lived through the financial crisis. I was the head trader of a large asset manager back then, and I saw things go to zero that I would never expect to go to zero. Look at Bear Stearns, for instance. It was a $70 stock. It went down to zero. General Motors went down to zero during that time period too. They had to restructure. So companies that you thought would never go out of business either went to zero or they went out of business, like Bear Stearns. So it is possible, and a $22,000 investment is substantial. A $1,300 investment, you could probably survive. Even if you have a small account size, having a $1,300 loss obviously hurts if Amazon was to go to zero, but something not so bad. So the one thing I would say as a new option trader is to manage your sizing. You don't want to look at this, and if you're used to committing that type of money, like $15,000, $20,000 to a trade, now all you have to commit for the same type of impact is 1,300 or something like that. So just watch your sizing, because with options trading, it is very easy to oversize. You can say, hey, well, if it's $1,300, I'll do $5,000 worth and what have you. The next thing you know, you have the equivalent of 200-300 shares of Amazon, which could go in your favor or not go in your favor. So always realize the power of what you're doing. You have the control or the ability to buy 100 shares of the underlying stock, which basically means while you own that contract, whatever happens to that underlying stock is going to be affected and implicated in your options price. So that being said, I always like to have a stop order with my option pricing. So with my option trades. So if you trade this, a typical trade, if I do $1,300, I might be willing to risk, let's say, half of that, let's say, or even less than half of that. Let's say I'm willing to risk maybe $500. So if my contract goes down to 8 from 13, I'm generally going to stop myself out. So really, I'm risking, let's say, $500 with an automatic stop, and I'm willing to try to get my stock to, let's say, a 10% move. So if Amazon was to go up, obviously with any stock, with any straight call option, you have unlimited upside potential here, basically. So if Amazon was to go up, like I said, let's say to 245, about 20 points, which is right around here, you can see that the value of my option contract would be $1,800. So it would be increasing by a factor of over 100%. So from 13, it would be 18 on top of that. It would be about 2,200. It would be worth, let's see, 18 plus, it would be worth well over $30. So it would essentially be above 100%. 100% gain for $500 worth of risk. That is the power of options, my friends. For people who are brand new to this, I would say that options trading is probably one of the best ways to start trading, because you don't need a ton of capital in order to get started. So the whole purpose of this video is just to give you a quick introduction of what the possibilities are and to really show you what I learned over the years. I think that the most important thing is to realize the power of them and to realize exactly what the possibilities are before you get into it. So I hope this video was helpful. I just wanted to show you a quick illustration of what the possibilities are. So if you're interested in learning more about the possibility of all the different option strategies that are out there, the different ways you could potentially earn income, either on a daily basis, weekly basis, or a monthly basis, or as a supplementary income to your current job, options trading foots the bill for all those types of possibilities. So please like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. We'll keep producing more videos like this. Check out our website. We'll leave the link down below in the description page, and we will also show you some of the cool offerings we have. So it's great to talk to you guys. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead. And please be careful out there. Managing risk is probably the most important thing you can do as a new trader. Take care, everybody.